why do we need RAG? We know that large language models are limited to the information they are trained on, which means they can only answer questions based on the data they were trained on. They're expensive to pre-train or fine-tune because both pre-training is an expensive proposition. Fine-tuning also means that you'll have to collect data, clean data, fine-tune the model, and then host a new instance of the model somewhere else. And we all know that large language models also have limited context lengths. So Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG, allows us to get over some of these limitations. Let's look at the overall architecture of RAG. Step number one, you'll have to create an external retrieval system, as we said, which means getting all your data into a special kind of database called as vector database. That's the data ingestion step. Second step is querying the vector database. As soon as you get a query or a prompt from the user, you retrieve these similar documents or you retrieve the matching answers from your vector database. And finally, you pass both the query and the matching documents to the LLM for the LLM to formulate a cohesive response. Let's look at each one of these steps in details. In step number one, you take your data sources. You could take multiple data sources, split them into chunks. And this is a really important part, also called as pre-processing your data. You might have lots of documents. You might have a PDF. You might have a PowerPoint presentation or a text file. You extract text out of all these documents, convert them into chunks, and then you convert these text chunks into embeddings. You use an embedding model to generate the embeddings, and you store the embeddings into the vector database. That is your step one. Then, once you get a user query, you can embed the user query and then match it in your vector database to get the answers or to get the similar vectors from your vector database. This is the key retrieval step. This happens outside of the large language model. And once you get the response, and in step number three, you pass the prompt or the query along with the retrieved similar documents, embeddings from your vector database. And that is what you give to the large language model, which then returns a cohesive response, which you can send back to the user. So step three is your generation step.